What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to the Nerdcastle. My name is Splattercat, and we are here today with the next episode of The Long Dark. In the previous episode, we had done some stuff and some things. There's your keyword to know exactly what I remember, which is nothing. And I've passed about a day in between this episode and the last one, just kind of getting random things done. I got our food supply cooked. Like, all the wolf meat that we got in the last episode has now been cooked out. We've got a little bit of water left. Unfortunately, I was behind the 8-ball a tiny bit, and it's taken me a couple days just to catch up, and I just removed that because all I've been doing is like going outside, getting snow, coming back in, searching for wood, and essentially I have done absolutely nothing interesting, and so I figured it should probably just be left off to the side. We'll come back, I'll have full equipment, I'll have full gear, and then we can deal with it from there. What I'm going to do right now is I'm actually going to drop off all of this stuff that I have on my character. I have the reclaimed wood, so we should definitely drop that. I wish you could just drop using this button, like you would just click this button and it would just drop it straight from here. I always feel like, it just feels like it's an extra button click that we don't need. But anyways, we got that all nice and done. Let me run through. I'm going to try and get some of this weight off of me. That's what I've been totally worried about the last... Oh, we have the lantern, that's why. Okay, so we've got a bunch of, like, weighty stuff in our inventory right now that we need to take care of. I think the next thing I need to do right now is our food supply is a little bit lower than I would prefer it to be. We only have 4 wolf meat left, and yes, that is going to allow us to get about 5,000 calories, and so that'll last us a good day or so. But still, I like to have backup food, just in case. I'm going to leave the bedroll... You know, every time I leave the bedroll behind, I regret it because I end up someplace, especially if we go out exploring. I always end up in a spot where I'm just like, okay, well, I wish I had brought my bedroll. And so I think I'm just going to keep it on my character. I need to repair my underwear. My undies have holes in them, and I'm feeling breezes and all kinds of weird natural forces and things. And that's not a good thing. If anytime you have, like, wind whipping past your genitalia while you're indoors, and right now, believe me, we are indoors, you should start looking around for possible causes and also ways to fix that situation. So, with some cloth right here, we're going to go ahead and repair. I could really repair my rifle, too, I think. I think I have some fur. Yeah, there's some fir wood there on the floor, actually. I think I talked about that in the previous episode, too. So, where are they? The wool long underwear. There they are. And so that's going to get 50% if I can pull this off. Let's go for it. It does take a while to get this done. I was hoping to go and explore some things. Oh, we failed. That's enjoyable. Come on, repair it. I wish that you still got the skill up when you failed, because typically I tend to learn a lot when I fail at doing something, but maybe that's not the way that they roll. Let's repair our socks while we're here too. I don't see any reason not to. We're already on this screen. We're already having an episode where we're not really going to be getting a ton of things done, so we might as well just do repairs for right now. Once everything's repaired, the toque we can repair. Yeah, repair the toque. Repair that fool of a toque. There we go, and the fool of a toque has been repaired now. It's at 87%. We have a little bit of cloth left on the floor over here. I salvaged as much of, I don't know if you remember this, but in these drawers over here, there's a whole bunch of extra clothing that I'm just using to break down as materials. I broke down quite a bit of it, but not all of it. I mean, you can see we still have a lot of stuff left for materials, so I don't think we have to worry about freezing anytime soon, which is a good thing, because freezing would totally suck. Although, compared to other ways to die, I've heard that when you freeze to death, you actually, ironically, you start to feel warm when you're freezing to death, and when your body goes into shock, you kind of just get warm all of a sudden, then you just black out and die. It actually doesn't seem like that. I mean, there's worse ways to go, like having things hacked off with a hatchet one by one. I mean, I'm not trying to be sadistic here. I'm just saying of all the ways that you could go, it seems like it'd be really, really like unpleasant up front, and then after that, it wouldn't suck quite as much. You just be like, well, I'm gonna take a nap now, and then that's that, and then you don't have to worry about it ever again. And this getting kind of dark, so I think I'm gonna move on to a new subject. I'm gonna grab some fur, firewood, and some scrap-a-lap-a-ding-dong. Grab that one right there. Some more scrap. If we fail this, if I fail to repair my gun, I'm going to be very, very frustrated with myself. Let's grab some simple tools right here. If we ever run out of simple tools, we can go get more from the dam. I think I left 2 or 3 toolkits out there. Our hunger's pretty high. We're almost at 15 days right now. We're doing really, really well. I'm thinking this playthrough could go the distance. It could go for speed. It could be all alone in her time of... Who's her? I don't know. That reference went in the wrong direction, and now I just don't know what to say anymore. I'm a giant cake fan, in case you hadn't figured it out. Let's see here. Repair amount. You can't sew a gun back together. It'd be impressive if you could, but you can't. 2 hours and 15 minutes to repair this, really. Alright, well, go for it. I guess that's how we're going to spend our day today. Yay! Fixing guns. Fixing guns. Should I take it another one, or should I... I don't know. We're not even fatigued right now. We've been awake like the entire day, and we're not even fatigued yet. I might try and go for another repair on it. I don't think it's too bad of an idea. Oh, I didn't want to repair. Okay, you cannot repair a tool with itself. Like, yeah. That makes sense. That makes sense. Wrench! I fix you with this other wrench! Alright, so we have a 66% gun now. It's also 34% eating bowl. I'm gonna go and get wood now. So I guess we'll spend a couple hours looking for wood. In fact, I'm gonna do... I shouldn't do 4 hours. That might be a bit too much. I'll do 3 hours right now. That seems to be about the most that I get out of this whenever I do it. And hopefully we'll get enough wood. 5 reclaimed wood. Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. What I'm gonna do now is let's start up a fire. I'm not using accelerants anymore. I'm just trying to use the basic stuff that I have on hand. The accelerants, while...
Serious?
They're totally serious. You are the worst fire starter on Earth. I wish I could berate you further, and I've lost the stove now. There it is. I wish I could berate you further for being so terrible at lighting fires. Like, it's really, really not this difficult. We've talked about this like 9 times now in this series, and lighting a fire, if you have Tinder, is pretty much the easiest thing on Earth. Pick up match, drop match. That's all you have to do. And somehow my character is getting that mixed up in between step A and step B. I'm not really... I don't know how to help a guy like this. So what we're going to do now is, while we starve, we're going to use this time to cook ourselves up some water, which is much, much, much more important right now than anything else. I'm going to see how much time I have left after we boil this water. I can't promise that we'll have enough to get anything else done, but we can try. So with an hour left, I think we can do a liter. I think a liter is actually 15-20 minutes, and so we should do an extra liter. And then once we've got all this water, it's time for us to go hunt again on the next day. And after we go hunt, we should be good. We should be good. I think if we can get ourselves a deer or maybe another wolf in fairly short order, we'll be set up for a fairly successful playthrough. I mean, it's been a pretty good playthrough thus far, but definitely some things that I'd like to shore up in our supplies. I'd like to go adventuring again. I would absolutely love to go out and explore what's to the right of the railroad tracks. We just haven't really had the opportunity yet. There is the possibility that we'll get food poisoning. I've gotten food poisoning now on the couple days, on the day that I played in between the last episode and this one. I got food poisoning again. And so unfortunately, it's just a thing that happens in this game. You gotta watch out for it. Anytime you eat meat, you might get that nasty little red glowing first aid kit on the right hand of your screen. It is now first thing in the morning, so let's rest for 6 hours. We'll get up in the morning and we've got to go hunt. We're out of food unless we're going to start diving into our perishables and non-perishables, so... Okay, and so now that we're back, it's time to go hunting. There are some things that I'd like to handle in our overall supply chain here. But we've got water, we've got food, and I really, really, really am not pleased about the prospects of dipping into our food stocks over here. I'd like to keep these for as long as possible, so if I can keep just stacking stuff up over here next to the dead guy, because we know he's not going to help himself. He totally already didn't help himself. He just laid down in the corner and accepted this whole thing. It wasn't hard for us to survive. I don't know why it's so hard for him to survive. I can't even start a fire, bro. You've got like a manly lumberjack beard, and you're wearing a super awesome fisherman's sweater. I bet you'll be perfectly fine, but we need to go hunting. Now, hunting is one of those things that I've begun to dread. As I play this game more and more, I find myself frustrated with the scope. I really, 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 lately, I've noticed that it does not fire on bead, and if this was a real gun, I would really actually take a little bit of time to readjust the scope, or to readjust the iron sights and try and figure out what's going on right here. Maybe, like, re-zero it out or something, because frankly, the gun appears to fire high and low just sort of randomly, and I'm not sure what affects that. Like, a 303 should have no problem being right on target from here if you aim a little high. Like, this range right here, it should be totally cool. Like, this shot right here would more than likely connect. It might be a little high, but for the most part, I think that would work. But what I'm running into is that the game really just seems to have... I don't know. It just seems to apply some sort of random stray to the bullet or something. And what I've found is that I've really begun to dread hunting anything at more than a point-blank range, because it just doesn't appear to... I'm lining it up like I would in any other game. I've been playing first-person shooters since I was a little kid, and I'm pretty sure that if I'm 5 feet away and you're inside the iron sight, you should get shot, but for whatever reason, the game does not appear to agree with me, and so I'm going to try and stay low right here. How cold is it? Minus 30. Dear God, it's cold. That is really, really cold. Minus 30. That's like so cold that it's not even a temperature anymore. It's just a feeling. It's like an emotion. It's so cold that it just makes you emotional. You're like, ah! Minus 30. Where did this deer go? Did he just spontaneously, like, despawn? No, there he is. Spawntaneously. If you spelled that like spawn, that'd actually be kind of humorous. I'd like to see if maybe I can get a little bit closer. Let's see here. Hold on, the barrel's low, so that shot's gonna go low. There we go. See, like, sometimes I just don't know in this game. Sometimes the shot appears to fly true, and then other times, like, I've noticed that I don't fire when you can't see the aim, the scope, but you've got to kind of get it lined up, like, right there, and then you see how the iron sight is going up and down. You want to wait till that's kind of at its apex at the top, but at the same time, I've missed shots when it was at the apex too, even though it was dead center in the middle, like not even aiming for the head, it was like in the middle of the deer right here, and it still like fires low or something. I don't know, I've stopped thinking about it. It seems to be that there's a little bit of randomness that's been applied to the gun firing, and I don't know how to deal with it right now. It's going to be really cold, so we need to, yeah, our condition's going to start falling off really, really quickly if we don't handle this. I don't know what you do with gut. Gut I have yet to use. I'm thinking that later you might use it for fishing line or something. I don't know. As of right now, it doesn't appear to have a whole lot of uses. I'm going to go back into the house. We hunted. We got that done. We're getting closer to getting ourselves to the point where we are self-sufficient, at least for the time being. And once that happens, what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait for the weather to go away. We're going to head off that way. We're going to take a right instead of a left out where the lumber camp is, and we'll have a look around. As I understand it, there's some bunkers and there's some other goodies. There's some cool locations. I mean, it's all a cool location. Look at all the snow. But there's some cool locations in terms of style and flair that we have not found yet. And so I've heard that there's like fallout bunkers, and there's a couple of other things that you can find out here that can ease your burdens. And in fact, we haven't found some of the major treasure troves in game yet. Got a little bit of hunger going, but instead of doing that, I'm just going to forage for wood for a couple hours. So let's just go for 4 hours of foraging for wood, because we've got to cook up all this meat, and we've got to do it fairly soon. The recommendation that I would give you is that... Oh, good, I'm exhausted already again. We've only been awake for 4 hours, and we're exhausted. We only got 6 reclaimed wood. That's a little rough. Alright. I think what I may do right here... Calorie store is a little low. But I don't think we can die of starvation just yet because everything else appears to be okay. Let's forage for another hour or two. And we'll just kind of see how much our condition deteriorates. And then I'll do some basic multiplication. Apply those mathematical skills and see. So we lost like 2%. So see, I should probably just keep doing this then. I mean, we're already maxed out anyways. Let's just use the rest of the day to forage. I am not going to use my hatchet. I really wish that it would stop doing that. Hopefully we don't die. If we die, that'll be the end. The end! The end of everything! I quitsies! 5 reclaimed wood. Oh, we only lost, like, starving doesn't even bother you at all in this game. Alright, keep foraging then. Forage as long as you want. Get as many pieces of wood as you possibly can tonight, because I'd like to store them up for the future. We're just going to ignore our hunger for a little bit. You were unable to forage any usable wood. That's the first time that's ever happened inside of our house. I'm wondering if we've run out. Let's try one more time just to see what happens. I don't know if it's possible that there's actually a limited supply in each building. Yeah, I think we're out. I think that's it. I think we're completely and totally out of wood in this building. That's not too terrible. I mean, we can still harvest outside, assuming it's not too cold. Hunger's looking pretty bad. Thirst looking pretty bad. Okay. And drink that. If we add cold to the equation, it's just going to make it a lot worse. So how much wood do we have total right now? Materials. We have 13 reclaimed wood. That's actually quite a bit. So that's good. Let's go ahead and we'll drop 8 of it. Well, we'll keep it all in our inventory right now. We'll keep it all because we've got to cook a lot of food tonight. So let's cook that. We've got a tinder plug, wood matches. This time I'm going to use an accelerant because I just need to get this thing up and going. I need my up and atom to on and get up. There it is. Okay, and so let me go ahead and I'm just going to prime this for 3 hours. And let's cook our way through as much of our venison pile as we can. I've arranged the venison into a pile. There's so much of it that you can't stack it. You can't possibly store it in any effective method. And so I've just started piling it. It's a big old heap of deer in the corner of my room. I don't typically eat venison very often. I remember I had venison sausage or something like that at some point. That's what it was. I've had venison sausage, and then I just had venison for dinner. I have a family friend who's a big time hunter. He's always out hunting, and occasionally when he gets himself a real good haul, for example, he shot an elk one time, and it was just more food than his freezer was piled all the way up to the top with just elk. And so he started giving the excess away to all of his friends, and he gave us so much elk that our fridge had elk in it for probably a good 6 months. Elk is a very delicious meat. I prefer elk over deer. We've had deer a couple times, or at least I have. I say we because it's my family, but we've had deer a few times, venison, and wasn't a huge fan. It was really gamey. It just didn't taste like I expected it to. I felt the same way about wild duck, actually. I ate a mud duck one time, and it was not pleasant. It was not pleasant at all. Filthy, rotten mud ducks. There ain't nothing that a hunter hates more than a mud duck. At least that's what I've been led to believe. I have a friend that'll just rant about mud ducks all day. I don't know why. It seems like the mud ducks would complain about him, considering he's always shooting them. Did we use up all of our wood just cooking this? Oh, that's bad. I wish you could boil and cook at the same time. Well, I suppose we'll be able to go outside and find some of this stuff. How much venison do we have left? Are we going to get through this entire pile? I hope we will. 20 minutes left. There's 2. You know what? Just go for it. We're going to go for all the wood that we just reclaimed. This is going to be a huge stack of food, so this is going to last us the course of the next episode or 2, I think. This is a lot of food, so we should be alright. And then with the 1 hour left, I'm going to try and boil up a little bit more water. I don't know if we'll have time, but I'm going to try. So let's melt 1.5. And if we come out better than 30 minutes, we should be alright to do the 1.5. There it is. Alright, so we'll boil that. That'll add us another 1.5 to our potable water source. And now we should have all of the things. That effectively replaces all the water that we drank earlier on in the day. I think I can still get another 0.5 off, maybe. Oh no, it's going to be really close. I think we've got it. We've got it. Cool. And so we've got enough water boiled now to where we should be able to make it a couple days without having to stop and do anything. So I'm going to eat some deer here with the bed right near in case I get food poisoning so that I can just sleep it off. I'll probably have venison for breakfast. Let's go ahead and drink some water. That'll give us the 4.85. We are exhausted, so we do want to crash out right about now. It's also getting very late. And so I'm going to go for a 6-hour rest right now. That'll allow our status to recover slightly. That'll also take the edge off in case we get food poisoning. If we get food poisoning right now, I'm probably just going to scream and ram my head into the side of the desk. Because our predisposition towards food poisoning has reached levels of absurdity lately. Eat that. Eat one more. Fantastic. We're a little bit thirsty right now. 420. 420 liters of water. Does that denote anything, potheads? I don't know. I mean, I used to be a giant pothead. It's a phase of everyone's life, I think. It's a phase. You go through it, and then you're like, well, that year was pretty awesome. I don't remember much of it, but it was pretty cool. Mine, for example, was my junior year of college, where I basically never came down for like 6 months. And then after that, I was kind of like, all right, I had my obligatory stoner period. I guess I will move on to the next thing. Let's see here. Do I have anything I can drop? We have simple tools, sewing kits. Yeah, I probably don't want to carry those around with me. What am I carrying around that's weighing so much right now? Is it just the deer meat? It's got to be the deer meat. Yeah, it's the deer meat. Alright, well, I'm going to drop it all right here then, and we'll come back and we'll eat it in a little bit. It won't deteriorate, just don't keep it in your inventory. That's the big secret. If you keep it in your inventory, it deteriorates really fast, and you'll run into problems. I shouldn't run down the stairs like that. That's a recipe for heartache. Taking a look at we got a little bit of time on our end. Let's check the weather. If it's blizzarding and storming outside right now, we're not going to be able to go explore, but if it's... Oh, cool. It's a decent day. Let's go ahead and have a look around. I'm going to walk down the tracks. I can't guarantee that we're going to make it anywhere interesting in this episode. We've only got about 4 minutes left, but we can give it a good go. I'm going to hold off on sprinting too much from where I'm at right now. I'd also like to track down some more firewood. But since we have so much food and water, I think I'll lay off it for a little bit. If we end up in a precarious situation, we'll just dive into our stored food. I don't want to, but if you have to, you have to. I'm not trying to bag any wolves or deer on the way out here. I did want to mention that that is not a goal for us right now. It's not something that I'm even remotely interested in. And so we will only kill a wolf in self-defense at this point, wasting bullets on things that I don't have time to harvest. So by the time we have so much food on hand right now that if I kill a wolf, his meat is going to go bad long before I can ever get to it. It's going to be just like the turkey meat in my fridge. I always end up, I don't know if this happens to any of you, but I always end up with twice as much turkey as I need, and I have no idea why, because I'm at the store, and I'm like, oh, I like turkey sandwiches, and every time I buy like a pack of turkey, and then I get home and I already have a pack of turkey, and I'm like, well, damn, why didn't I remember that? And so this is I have a real rivalry with turkey meat, where for some reason, I just always have way too much of it in my house, to the point where I like freeze it, and I give it away to people because I buy it too much. Like right now, I can guarantee you there's like 3 unopened packs of turkey meat just sitting in my fridge. And typically I try and freeze them once I see the due date is coming, but okay, so we got a wolf over there. I do not want to shoot him, fight him, or be involved with him or her. Actually, it could be a female wolf, I guess, but it's weird how the wolves in this game just wander around by themselves. I'm hoping later on they add a little bit of a pack mentality, where they'll hang out together and they'll only attack you in groups, but if they're by themselves, they'll run away, which effectively makes them prey in one situation, but makes them predator in another situation. And I think that would be a nice variation. So if you see one wolf, you're like, ah, gotcha, bitch. But if you see like 30 wolves, you're like, oh my god, run! And you have to run for your life. So, I don't know. That's just the way that I envision it, just wolf-related things in video games. I'm going to try and stay as high up on the hill as possible, and it's not because I'm arrogant or anything, it's because wolves are scary. I just heard a howl off to my left, too. I just gotta... Okay, I tug the... That's how I check. Well, I check to see if my headphones are on right. I tug the cable. And if the cable's underneath my left ear, I'm like, okay, it's on the right one. That's actually... If it's on the left, then it's right. Oh, God. Wordplay. Are we down the train tracks yet? I mean, I feel like we have a long walk in front of us. I don't know how far out I should be going either. I'm not one who's known for getting, like, far out, bruh. But... do we take a right at the lumber camp, or do we take a right once we cross the bridge? I don't know if I've looked over here. Over here seems as though it would take us back to the lake. I suppose I'll have a little look-see. We need to find shelter before it gets too late. We can use the dam if we have to. We brought our bedroll with us, so we can use the dam to hole up for a little bit if nothing else makes itself apparent. And I think this is a good spot for me to break off the episode. My name is Splattercat. Thank you for joining me here for the next episode of The Long Dark. I look forward to seeing you all in the future for the episodes to come. I don't know. I choked on my words right there for a second. I was like, I don't know. It felt like somebody was force choking me for a moment. It's probably one of my haters through the internet. Anyways, I'll see y'all later. Take care. I do, everybody.